And we are officially live. Hello to all my BC WrestlePod nerds out there. And welcome to another rendition here. This time, we are back with your NXT PLE review squad here at BC WrestlePod. Of course, I am Mikey, also known as El Jefe, BC WrestlePod part. And of course, joining me this evening is, my homie since day one, the Pleat Father himself, the Kilt Man, is in the building. Good evening. Well, I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of great that it so happenstance be like, hey, so you're gonna be our third now, and it came at a great time because it's just gonna be me and you until November.
Which is unfortunate, but hey, it's okay.
It's okay. Papa Oso's job calls him to do that, and he will still be keeping up with NXT, but he is in the midst of his play for the fall season at the college he works at, so you are forgiven for now. No, but we are here this evening, as you can see on our screen, because we are here to review NXT's No Mercy, which took place this past Saturday from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Yeah, we got lots to talk about because things kind of bled into this last night's episode of NXT, kind of. And some things worked, some things that I was like, what are we doing? But we'll get into all of that. But if you are new here to BC WrestlePod, I would like to thank you for being here. If you want to, watch us do more, we cover a whole bunch of stuff. So that's why we kindly ask you to subscribe to our YouTube or follow us on Twitch or Kick, whatever your preferred platform is for video watching and streaming content. But we also know that watching full-length reviews is not necessarily up to your speed, or you don't have the time to do so, and that is okay as well. But if you want to still interact with us in a small scale, then you can follow us on the social medias at BC WrestlePod, where, we do report cards, we do all the fun stuff there. It is a great time. I work my booty cheeks off to do all the things, and it is a hoot, and it is great. And honestly, I love what I do. It is a lot of fun for sure. But you might be wondering to yourself, hey, I love all of you guys do amazing things. I have a question though, because I would like to support you guys, in different monetary ways. What are those said ways that I can help you? Well,
again, let me cut you off because I'll take this part here. You can always throw money at me. I'm a very, very give me money. But also, over on Twitch, we are an affiliate on Twitch. You can give us your money over there by subscribing and following us there. Or you could do the even more cool thing, which is if you see me on NXT ever, you'll see me wearing our, right now I'm not wearing it because it's dirty, but you'll see me wearing our merchandise over on Fourth Wall. Post that beautiful link footage, sir. I literally just cut you off to freeze you completely, didn't I? That's awesome. I'll take it and run. I'll do it.
No, but as Kilt said, if you want to, support us with some merchandise, you can find all of our merchandise at bcwrestlepodshop.fourthwall.com, where we have loads and loads of merch, ranging from everything with our review teams to our special limited editions, which I am happy to report that I brought pictures. So, it was in the intro, so obviously these are going to get grander and better, but we have 4 new limited edition collections available to you. The first being our Pumpkin Suplex Latte collection, where, every limited edition collection that we have coming out until the end of 2025 has ties to charity, so you are also supporting charities. So if you are feeling our new fall collection, you can get our Pumpkin Suplex Latte. Or if you want to celebrate Latino Heritage Month, we have our Festival of Lucha collection. Part of the proceeds will be donated to organizations to preserve the culture and the art of Latin artists across the world. On top of that, just in time for the Halloweeny bits, we have 2 new collections for the month of October. The first being, and this has been a long-running joke here at the BC WrestlePod, but I finally turned it into fruition. We have our Botox Skeletor collection, which, if you want to know what the gag is, tune in this Sunday because we talk about it all the time. And of course, on top of that, also dropping is a little bit more of the fun one. This is the Monsters of the Mat collection, which is basically a comedic special type of shirt to play on the Song of the Monster match. We have, which is also our new Squatch match shirt, which has our Sasquatch in a luchador mask surrounded by the classic Hollywood monsters. And again, everything is tied to charity. The fall collection has part of the proceeds donated to No Kid Hungry. We have our Latino Heritage Month being donated to preserve the art of Latin artists. And then our 2 Halloween collections are being donated to 2 different Halloween organizations to fight hate and bring the spooks to all the people. So yeah, they're really nice. Please go get them. It was such a blast working on them. So, but without further ado, link in the description for our merch in the chats and the link in the description of this video. But now let's get into it because we got a PLE that we need to discuss, my friend. So let's just jump straight into it. Again, we are talking about NXT No Mercy, and we are going to briefly touch upon the episode last night, but we're going to focus primarily on the pay-per-view because there was a lot of ups and downs for this one, and dare I say some surprises, but also not surprises. But we kicked No Mercy off with our opening match, which was just a singles bout. These two have been kind of going at it over the last couple of weeks, and we opened No Mercy up with Javon Evans versus Josh Briggs. We got, well, this feud has been going on for about the last month and a half or so, and it's just mostly because Josh is being a hater, and you know what? Him and Javon have 2 different ideals. Josh is like, I'm gonna take what I want to get the title, and Javon is waiting for opportunities because he believes in playing fair. But also, don't let that fool you, because Javon is like, nah, we're gonna throw fists, and throw fists were had. I love when Javon gets aggressive when someone's made him mad. He's like, oh, you gonna get these hands, and his wrestling showcases that. This was a bop. I had such a blast watching this one, and I was just like, this was a good opener. I had a great time with this one.
This definitely set the tone for the night, and the tone just kept getting better. This is going to be on my top PLE for the year because so far I've only had like 2 flops, well, maybe 3 flops for the year, but out of all the PLEs that we've watched, honestly, Javon is great. And the only other thing I have to for those who are like me, who don't like Josh Briggs, let me say this. I'm complimenting how good of a heel he plays. He is a bastard, and he brings a good, perfect amount of heat to be a heel, because every time he does anything, it's the chance of Josh go away. Whoever he's fighting can stay. He is such a good heel, and I absolutely love him. I also want to know what his Waffle House order is, but that's because I'm a nerd and I like Malcolm.
We love to see it. Honestly, it's so much fun. But yeah, I mean, again, this definitely set the tone for everything. This was a blast. Javon Evans got his lick back because he's been on a losing streak against Josh for a little bit. And, you know, Javon is going to be moving on to crazier things happening in the next couple of weeks, which we're going to talk about when we recap our episode from last night. But Javon and Josh Briggs, this was such a fun match. Definitely set the tone for the rest of the night. And we continued along with that with our WWE Speed Championship match. Now, we had some changes in this one, which at first I was like, oh no. And then what happened on Tuesday, I was just like, why did we waste the tournament then? Which we'll get into in a little bit. But originally scheduled, it was going to be our WWE Speed Champion, Sol Ruca, defending her title against the #1 contender who won the tournament to be #1 contender in NXT's Lainey Reed. We find out that Lainey is not medically cleared to do so, so Sol is still going to defend her title just against a mystery opponent. And, you know, we would find out who that would be, because then it becomes in the form of, hey, Ms. Parker, because Jada Parker steps up and she
Hola, Miss Parker. Go, Miss Parker. That's one of my favorite chants. Whenever she comes out, I love Miss Parker.
It is fantastic. So we end up getting Sol Ruca versus Jada Parker in a WWE Speed match. Now we are told that in this title defense, instead of it being a 3-minute time limit, it is now a 5-minute time limit. So Jada has 5 minutes in order to try to capture the Speed Championship from Sol Ruca. And it kind of seemed that it was going to go that way. However, we get the reemergence of Miss Lash Legend coming through, you know, on the outside. which causes a little bit of a distraction for Ms. Parker, which would allow Soul to hit the Soul Snatcher for the win to retain her WWE Speed Championship. So I was just like, oh no, poor Lainey. Hopefully she feels better. Now remember, this was me at this point in the show. We're going to talk about it when we get to a certain part, because WWE was the one who messed this one up, not us. They messed it up by tweeting about it and then promptly erasing it. I was like, well, we called that, but wow, they couldn't even get it. What did you think of the Speed Championship match between Sol Ruca and Jada Parker?
I loved the match. It was a great match. Granted, if you were going to have swapped out Lainey Reed for anyone, it should have been Candice LeRae, because she did come up next in line because she lost to Lainey. That's how I personally saw it. That was the only way to have made this even more make sense to me, outside of having Jada come out and fight, and then having Lash Legend, continue their little feud and you get lick backs and whatnot later on, which is great. It's some more storytelling, some little bit of fun. This was an all-in-all great match. Sol Ruca is amazing. I absolutely love her. I love Zarya too, and all the TikToks they do together, which is literally some of my favorite parts. And like this was a good match, and it did very well in my book. Honestly, the only notes I have is you could have swapped Jada Parker for Candice LeRae because of storyline with how the tournament worked out. Because Lainey Reed beat out Candice. So naturally, in my mind, it should be Candice out there, because I don't remember where Jada was in this rankings, if she was even in the speed tournament at all. So that's the only tweak I would have done. But all in all, this was a great match. This gave us some good storytelling, which led us into last night's show, which we'll talk about later.
Oh, yeah. We'll get into that. And specifically, Lainey, we're not done talking with you quite yet, because a certain thing happens tonight. And I'm just like, we'll see what happens. But again, Sol Ruca is still your WWE Speed Champion, which leads us into our third match of No Mercy, which is our weaponized steel cage match. This is Jordynne Grace versus Blake Monroe. Now, granted, this is Meat Muffin. So, granted, this is NXT underneath the umbrella of WWE. So, when we get cage matches, I was like, okay, they ain't gonna bleed crimson. This is not like other promotions. First of all, Blake Monroe, this outfit with the camo pants and long sleeve, and Jordan with your outfit, I was like, these girls were ready for war. And I'm just sitting here as Jordan makes her entrance, and I'm like, watch Blake bring in, like, because she's a girl's girl, she gonna bring in like hair products and stuff like that. And I was not wrong. We got a pink trash can. We had a hair blow dryer. And I was just like, what the flip? This was just stupid fun. Like, honestly, I was like, these girls did awesome. This was so much fun. Blake Monroe out here for blood. Jordynne Grace, wrestling with her finger in a cast too, because, that's what we learned beforehand as well. The way this match finished, though, Jordynne Grace and Blake Monroe from the top of the cage into the table was crazy. Yeah, this was just stupid fun. I had a great time with this one. Jordynne Grace does beat Blake Monroe, so they are 1-1. Which means to tell me I smell a rubber match, and it's gonna be crazy. So, Kilt, what did you think of our weaponized steel cage match between the girls?
We always say this, or at least I often say this, that the women carry the division. They carry the brand. They carry wrestling in general. These two phenomenal athletes and phenomenal wrestlers, they literally are. They did so well. The diamond bit was a little over the top, personally. It's almost like that one match had a while back. But it's still, it was such a good match. I was excited for, the off the top, table drop. Just everything about this match. This just was so much fun to watch. Like, there was the only thing I could have said we could have done without is Jordynne Grace, is Blake Monroe cutting Jordynne Grace's hair. I'm like, you could have gone without.
That was a little bizarre, but then again, because WWE doesn't allow their talent, or at least not on purpose, to like bleed, because that is the spot where she would grab something, start stabbing Jordynne in the face, make her bleed a little bit. And I was just like, now I know it's the WWE, but Blake Monroe, formerly known as Mariah May, I was like, we know, girl, you can bleed. Like, we saw you and Toni Storm bleed the house down in your final match against her in AEW. Like, girl. But again, the Fed has different rules, so we got to play by these rules. But even with that, the hair cutting was a little weird. But besides that, man, what a really fun way to do this. Jordan Grace wins this one, so that means that again they are tied 1-1 my rubber match at Halloween Havoc. Like, that is the perfect place to have it at. But the women of WWE in general are whether it's main roster or NXT are continuing to carry the Fed through, because Lord knows that main roster men is having problems keeping my interest. The women are the ones carrying everything right now. And Jordan and Blake Monroe are a perfect example of them doing just that. Alrighty, so we move on though. So now we get, for the remainder of the show, we get our 3 championship matches coming up next. The first one being our NXT North American Championship match. Tavion Heights challenging the champion, All Ego Ethan Page. Again, these two have been feuding for a little bit. What started as a mixed tag team match at Heatwave, which saw the Canadian All Ego Ethan Page pick up the victory with him and Chelsea Green over Tara May Steele and Tavion Heights. It would be Damian Priest of main roster during Homecoming that would get Tavion the chance to challenge Ethan for the NXT North American Championship, as well as Tavion beating Ethan in that flag match a couple of weeks ago. And you know what? I'm going to be so for real. I was like, did I think Tavion was going to win? No. And that's the unfortunate part. But I will say this. I think this is the best. Tavion is fantastic. I love him. But I think this is the best showing Tavion has shown. And I'm like, put the championship on this kid in the, soon. Tavion's ready for a championship. He did. I was like, literally, this is Black Kurt Angle. That is exactly what this is. Tavion is Black Kurt Angle, and it's great. And
that's every time they mention his Olympic background, I'm like, the Black Kurt Angle. Except no mushroom here. And this is literally it. This is so great. He's so great. I love this. I don't like the outcome of it personally because it means I lost, and so my record's bad. But it's such a great. It was such a great match. It's led up to some really good storyline currently, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be so much fun. This is just cerebral. This is great. I can't wait for more. I don't know if there's going to be more Ethan versus, if this match of champions, so to speak, are going to keep going. But from what I understand, there's going to be something a whole lot cooler next Tuesday, and we'll talk about that at the end of the hour.
Yes, we will. Tavion put up one hell of a fight, but unfortunately, All Ego Ethan Page would retain his North American Championship. Afterwards, though, on the screen, we get a nice little video message and kind of like I'll see you soon message from Mr. El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr., who Ethan has been kind of feuding with on and off at AAA right now. So I'm just like, that match is going to be happening probably soon. So this is going to be interesting. But again, Tavion did one hell of a job. This was a fantastic bout from here. It's great. Coming into the TR Go-Go, when you have a move called the Soul Snatcher, you are a winner. I mean, you're not wrong.
God, yes, I love it. It's okay. I have to talk about this one setup in the Jada Parker Lash Legend match from last night, because it's the way it was, because it looked like, the only way I could say it is like a reverse 619, because usually when you do the 619, you're hanging on the ropes like this. Lash Legend was hanging off on the ropes on her waist, and then Jada went to do a move on that side. I'm like, you could have just done a 619 on the reverse side, just kicked her straight in the ass. It would have been such a hilarious moment, and that could have been like something else. I don't know, but it's something that I saw that made me giggle, and the inner pervert came out. But that's because I had a good angle.
Moving on. So it seems that we are getting Ethan Page and Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. coming up shortly, and that's going to hopefully be a lot of fun too. And I'm hoping that Tavion continues to get pushed because he's great. In our semi-main event for the NXT Women's Championship, this is our champion JC Jane defending her title against the hometown girl, Miss Mamacita herself, Lola Vice. We love Lola in this household. Love it. So Lola got her shot at JC's NXT Women's Championship by winning a triple threat #1 contenders match at Heat Wave. So she beat Jada Parker and Kalani Jordan to be able to get this match. And we've been building this up for weeks. We've been getting pre-tape promos, pre-tape vignettes of Lola and her family and pulling at the heartstrings. And then we had JC and Lola come face to face last week in a promo in the middle of the ring to set up this match. And I was just like, I was wrong for my pick, but I went with my heart with this one because I really wanted to see Lola win. Nothing against JC, but I was just like, you can't pull at my heartstring and not let Lola win. And to be fair, Lola technically had this match won, but we got a masked attacker in a black hoodie who took out Lola, which was enough of a distraction for JC to hit her finisher and end up retaining her NXT Women's Championship. So I was like, are we being for real right now? I was like, fine, I guess. Now, before we get into WWE and NXT blowing up their own spot by revealing who it is before Tuesday, Kilt, what did you think of our NXT Women's Championship match between Lola and JC?
It has some good storytelling with what happened at the end in the mask boot kicker, and it's interesting to say the least. Personally, if you're going to boost up someone the way they did with Lola, and do all these vignettes and all this, bringing her family in and just doing all this, it's very, come on, really? Did you have to make her lose? That doesn't make sense. Like, you just boosted her up to be, you're starting to put her up to be a champion. Now, granted, there's some long-term storytelling here, which is, to be expected, and I love it. But also, it's a situation of, come on, I wanted Lola to win. But I got to see her this week at NXT, so I was happy.
It's fantastic. Now, we're going to revisit Lola here because I was just like, if there was any championship match that was on No Mercy that I was expecting a title change or would have made sense by the way we were building up the challenger and the story of the match, this would have been the one that made the most sense. Unlike our main event, though, because we get the NXT Championship, Obafemi defending the title against challenger Ricky Saints, and I'm just gonna spoil it, Kilts. Whereas Lola beating JC to become new champion made sense to me because of how we were building this up. Ricky beating Obafemi with 4 DDTs to become champion, while cool, I was just like, I'm not mad, but the way that we've been billing Ricky as the challenger for Oba, I was just like, you're not making me believe that Ricky's going to win. And maybe that was the point. Maybe NXT wanted us to believe that, so that way that when Ricky wins, like he did here, it would have been a shock. But I'm like, that wasn't great storytelling. And I'm just like, I think it's cool Ricky is NXT champion because that's going to be fun. But having this match be the one where the title changed hands made little sense. Lola being the one to defeat JC, had she done that, made more sense because of the way that we've been portraying and building up Lola. Ricky has not been built up that same way, and I'm kind of confused as to why he won here, which means to tell me Oba's probably going up to main roster at some point before the end of the year. But I'm just like, I have questions, NXT. I'm not mad that Ricky is champion, but also why?
Yeah, definitely why. It's like, and only thing is, he did a DDT to the table, and he didn't set it up right, so that way the table, the announcer table would collapse, which kind of upset me because they teased it. If Oba had slammed it through the table, and then like the 4 DDTs happened after that, that would be even better. I'm hoping they're taking Oba and giving him and throwing him at Sami Zayn, so that way, because they did the same thing with Young OG, and Young OG did
that match was so good on SmackDown. It was
oh my god.
I think Obafemi is definitely going to be going up to main roster. However, I don't think it's going to be within 2 weeks, and here's why. I think NXT is probably going to want to run a rematch between Ricky and Oba, possibly. If not, then they don't need to. But I think Obafemi is going to, I'm going to be for real. If he's getting called up, I think he's going to probably pop up maybe the Raw and or SmackDown after Survivor Series. Or who knows? I think that we might wait until the Royal Rumble for him to make an appearance because we got to get through John Cena's retirement first. So I don't think Oba is moving up in 2 weeks. However, I do think Obafemi should make his debut by being the person to answer Sami Zayn's open challenge for the United States Championship. However, I don't think Oba should win because people are like, "Oh, Oba should win to take it off Sami." I'm like, no, and here's why: because we have seen it with. We literally have Julia as the perfect example. When you call somebody up from NXT and then you give them the title, but you have no idea how you're gonna book them. I think Julia is fantastic, and I think she's an awesome champion. But Triple H and main roster creative have not booked her in feuds that make a whole lick of sense. So it's wild out here. So TR Gogo, to answer your question, I think he's going up, but I think we get one more match between him and Ricky, and then that's the send off for him to go up to main roster. And but we'll see because crazier things have happened. Yeah. Appreciate the question, brother. Feel free to keep asking those questions as we go along because we love interacting with our lovely new friends here on the internet. But yeah, again, when we were looking at Lola and Ricky, the way that we built up Lola's story going into No Mercy made more sense for her to win. I am hoping that Lola gets a rematch either at Halloween Havoc or a Deadline, which is the final pay-per-view of NXT for the year, as they always are, and her to capture the NXT Women's Championship. I'm interested to see who they're going to set Ricky up. If it's not Obafemi in a rematch in the feud, or they're going to give him someone new. But you know what? I enjoyed the main event. It was a lot of fun. Ricky Saints is your new NXT Men's Champion. Kilt, any closing thoughts on this match before we move on to our final thoughts on No Mercy?
No, I'm good on this one. This one was it was a great match. A little weird storyline wise, but great. I'm looking forward to what's going on next.
Absolutely. Well, I have to say, I think NXT No Mercy definitely redeemed itself. Now, granted, I had a fun time at Heatwave. I wasn't here for the review, but we all collectively agree that Great American Bash was weird. Back in July, it was not a fun show for Great American Bash. Heatwave was really fun. I think NXT No Mercy was a step in the right direction to keep the pay-per-views going really strong. And so now we are only a couple of weeks out, Kilt, to our next pay-per-view, which is Halloween Havoc for NXT, which is going to come to us live from Tempe, Arizona. So that's going to be a lot of fun to review. But we are not quite done with NXT. We might be saying goodbye to No Mercy, but we do have a quick bullet point recap of last night's NXT because we jump from No Mercy straight into the next big thing for NXT, which is a showdown. Obviously, they renamed it from Invasion because, NXT and WWE got into some hot water after getting blasted for the word invasion being referred to like what's going on in Gaza and everything, which is a big no-no. So that is why NXT and TNA are now calling their joint show next week Invasion. So let's talk a little bit about what went down this episode. Of course, I decided to use the card with Ava and our favorite and bestest, authority figure across any promotion here, Santino. And we have a bullet point list here of a couple of things that happened. The first two being is that Ava and Santino appointed the team captains for each team. So the NXT team is our NXT Men's Champion, Ricky Saints, and Women's Team Captain, NXT Women's Champ, JC Jane, which makes a lot of sense. Then Santino appoints Mike Santana as the Men's Captain, and the women's captain for Team TNA is our current our current TNA Knockouts champion and current NXT star Kalani Jordan. So I'm just like, for those of you who don't watch TNA, let me fill you in because Victory Road last week was wild in the sense because, so originally, as Kilt remembers, our TNA champ for at least the last couple of months has been Ash by Elegance. We're going to talk a little bit more in detail on Friday during the Victory Road review, but she retired from in-ring competition last Friday during the pay-per-view. Like, she got in the ring, she got on the microphone, she was heartbroken. She physically can no longer compete in the ring. And I was just like, it was heartbreaking to watch that. So she had to vacate the title. Santino was crying, which I was like, damn it, when Santino cries, I cry. Like, it was an emotional moment, but we had to continue to get the show. So they had an impromptu battle royale match to figure out who would be the two people to fight for the vacant title, which ended up being Kalani Jordan and TNA's Liang Lee. They had a banging match, and ultimately Kalani would become the new TNA Knockouts champion. So thus, that is why she has been appointed the women's, TNA captain, because she is the TNA Knockouts champion. Tune in Friday, because that Victory Road review is going to be crazy, because there were so many changes because of injuries, people not being able to make it. Like, it was wild. So I was just like, okay, this is awesome. And then Ava and Santino gave the captains until the end of the night to solidify who they would get on their team. So we had a couple of matches happen this episode. Kilt, we had Jada Parker defeating Lash Legend in a very fun match, which I think was really great. And of course, you were there for not only this,
I was there.
You were there live for this go home angle leading into Showdown next week, but you also got a little bit of the Evolve Succession tapings, which is their special airing in 2 weeks, which is crazy to say.
Yeah, I got to see some cool stuff. I definitely have an interesting favorite now from that I'm enjoying, because I'm only getting little bits and pieces because I don't really pay attention to Evolve. And now that I'm seeing it, I'm like, ooh, okay.
It's free on Tubi every Wednesday night.
I got enough shit to
play. I know. It's okay. We don't have an official review show. I just do the report cards because, again, the way that Evolve works is this is where your independent talent who gets scouted from WWE's ID program go. And if they impress the Fed enough, there's a possibility they could be signed to NXT, which is a lot of fun. So this is a lot. I mean, we have a couple of NXT stars down there who are helping out and things like that. But a lot of the folks you're seeing are from the independents. So that includes the people like Cappuccino Jones, Jack Cartwheel, Marcus Mathers, Aaron Rourke, Super Sean Legacy, Tar, our LFG winner, is down there as well. Like, it's always hit or miss every week for WWE Evolve and what they do. But honestly, I think they got a great faction in Swipe Right and the Vanity Project are really good. Like, it's a lot of fun down there. But again, Kilt was there for all this whole NXT episode, which was great. So we got Jada Parker defeating, Lash Legend in a really fun bout. Sol Ruka gets chosen for the NXT women's team, and so does Jada Parker. Lola Vice and Fallon Henley compete to get into the final spot, in which Lola wins. So the final team makeup for Team NXT on the women's side is JC, Sol, Jada, and Lola. And then on the men's side, we have, for NXT, Ricky, and he didn't pick him, but Trick Williams decided to be a part of this team because he can. So it's Ricky, Trick, Javon, which makes me super excited. And then the final spot was decided between Miles Bourne and Josh Briggs. Miles wins due to interference from Mr. Chelsea Green, a.k.a. Matthew Cardona.
I didn't use him enough during this. Well, he was there. And it's like, I think they're like, okay, we're just going to have him here. We're not going to say anything about him. He's just here. And like, come on, you could use, what does he call himself? The king of independent wrestling?
Yeah, he is a lot of monikers, the Deathmatch King, the king of independent wrestling. Like, we love Matt Cardona, but definitely was not used a lot. But I think this is setting something up, because I feel like we're going to get a couple of these NXT stars crossing over to TNA in the net and for the remainder of 2025. So this should be interesting. But we also get confirmation that it was Lainey Reed who attacked, not only Jasmine Nix a couple weeks ago, but also attacked Lola Vice at No Mercy. And we're like, duh, we saw that coming. And NXT ruined that by tweeting it out before the show, like the day before. And I was like, damn, y'all messed that up big time. But to be in Fatal Influence, and I was just like, we're putting her in here because Jasmine didn't want to resign. So I was just like, all right, girl, go off. But on top of this, Mustafa Ali from TNA comes back, and we set him up as the next challenger for All Ego Ethan Page's North American Championship, which is crazy that we're using the real life release of him over 2 years ago. He earned that title match. And then, he was supposed to face Dominic Mysterio when Dominic had that NXT North American Championship title. And then Mustafa Ali got released the day before. And I was just like, what the flip are we doing? So the fact that we're using that as the basis for this is kind of great. Do I think Mustafa Ali is going to win? No. But it's still going to be good. But Kilt, I have to say it, my favorite match of the entire night had to be the tag team match. Obviously, you don't like the name, the Colleen. But let me tell you, the team of Javon Evans and TNA's Leon Slater, that is...
Our boys be bouncy. Those guys were flying. Did you see? Okay, I don't know exactly what he calls it, but I call it the Screaming Eagle because I'm a fucking Nacho Libre fan. And this literally Javon goes, Screaming Eagle, open over. I'm like, dude. And then Leon did that flip. Oh, like he got launched high over the ropes, like from my angle, like it bad. Because he came down, like stairs are right here, like this. That's how bad
It
like,
was gnarly. But so here,
my guy, please don't hurt. Like, you're great. I already admit that. But come on, my dude, don't hurt yourself that bad.
that is very true. But you know, these two, both of them don't go less than 115%. Like they go all out. And it's crazy of how much I enjoy both of them. But get this, right? So Javon just turned 21. So he is still a baby. Leon Slater is 19 years old. Javon is 21.
Okay, dude is 19 and is a champion. Has champion gold around him. Like, we can go back and look at everyone. And like 19, what was I doing? I was sitting. Oh, was I in Germany? Still, I was between Germany and coming back. Hold on, I have to think because I was in Germany. I turned 19 when I was in Kyrgyzstan. I was deployed. Like, my God, that boy he's so good. They're all so good. Why can't we have more going down like this? But there was something I was gonna pull. Because it's just like everything that these guys are doing right now are just amazing. It's like I just want the. Oh, I remember what I was gonna talk about, the calling for a second, because we saw a little bit, and yes, I saw her. I saw her walk by me. Saw the bird lady walk right by, and I lost Mikey, or at least I lost his camera. Anyway, I saw the bird lady walk right by me as I was waiting in line to get in. I saw Lyra Valkyria walk into the PC and then give, I don't know her name, but she's now one of my crushes, the doll. Yes, gave her the
Tatum
doll.
Paxley.
And I'm like, oh, that's cute. And then the blonde just being a
Izzy, yep. Oh, okay. So yeah, so Lyra, a bird lady, love her. Lyra gives Tatum the doll, and then Izzy got all mad about it.
Like, man, like, come on. I understand you're jealous of this infatuation, but can you know? Like, I loved Tatum's you said Tatum, right?
Yeah, so Tatum Tatum, and Tatum Paxley is our goth girl. We love her. She's fantastic. Tatum Tot is what we call her.
Oh, Tatum Tot. Okay, anyway, moving back to my point. The match when Tatum and Alexa Bliss went at it, that was amazing. I'm still mad I didn't get tickets for Homecoming. I'm so mad. I'm so mad for so many things about those 2-week periods. But anywho, moving a little bit along, I love her. I hope that I understand what they're doing, because they're going to set it up for a split, but I kind of can be soon. Can Tatum Tot, move somewhere else and maybe hang out with Lyra more? I love it. She's so cute. She's literally just sitting there playing with a doll on the side of the ring, just like, oh, hi, and then just sits up on the desk. She knocked out Booker's monitor. Because there's 3 monitors on the desk, and I'm watching, and it's all of a sudden I just see her go flop off. And Booker's like, shit, is this gonna work? Honestly, it's hilarious. I loved every single moment of it. I love. I'm now in like practical. I'm in lust, or in lesbians, if you wish. There's a reference with Tatum. She was so hilarious during that match, and then get dragged off. I'm like, why you gotta be? It's nice. It don't look good on you.
So all to say is main event ruled. Javon and Leon Slater beat the Colleen. We end the show with TNA rolling up through the gates. Everybody is in the ring. We get our finalized teams for Showdown next week. We got a couple of things happening. So we're getting 2 Survivor Series style elimination type of matches. So on the men's side, it is the team of Ricky Saints, Trick Williams, Javon Evans, and Miles Bourne versus the men's TNA team of Mike Santana, Frankie